So I've been thinking recently, why did I build a koi pond? When I designed my koi pond, I installed two bottom drains, and these are the spin drifter drains. Just for the purpose of these videos, the air is on, but I don't normally run the air on these drains at all. And you can see from this video how the drains work. They remove solids from the pond and take it straight into the drum filter, which is the next bit that I want to talk a little bit about. So the drum filter, RDF in itself, has been something that has been around, I guess, probably the last 10-15 years or so. I was fortunate enough to be one of the first in the UK to get one of those, and yeah, it's been a godsend, especially for those with children and busy lifestyles and schedules where you don't have time to clean out your whatever settlement chambers you got. So the drum filter works by simply removing the solids from the pond, taking it into the drum filter itself. There's a 70 micron screen. Anything that is blocked from there, eventually the water drops, and with my particular drum, it's worked by pressure. So as the pressure changes, it triggers a clean, and as you can see, it's spraying and washing all the dirt out of the drum. So it stops what is called or known as the tea bag effect. That is, any solids or waste in the pond is removed quickly, and my drum cleans 3 times in an hour. So every 20 minutes or so it will go off, and it will remove any solids that's trapped in the pond, removing that from causing any issues in the pond itself. When you're looking after your fish, you've got to eventually learn how to operate a microscope and take a scrape. I know it sounds daunting, and there's a lot of people, and I do understand that it is a little bit nerve-wracking doing your first scrape, but the more and more you do it, the more you learn to handle a fish and how to take a scrape effectively. I use my own method, and this, as you can see, is how I would take a scrape. I go to my microscope, a Meiji microscope that's made in Japan, and I use that to help me figure out if there's any parasites or anything like that going on. The microscope in itself, for me, it's better to have a binocular one. It's easier to see, it's less harsh on the eye, and you can pick up anything that's going on that's untoward. Water quality plays an important part in keeping koi to their best skin quality, and also to help them grow and mature as they intended it to be, and really as their genetics may allow, and the water you provide. I often test my water. I use a Palin Test 7100, and you can see how I use that. I test the water, checking the pH. I run a low pH and I run a low KH below 1 degree, and a pH around between 6.97 to 7.01. Sometimes it will drop a little bit lower, but it doesn't bother me in the slightest, and certainly it doesn't bother the fish at all. As you can see, I also have some up pipes on my pond, and within the up pipes I tend to run, and that removes all the DOCs from the pond, and any heavy loading on the pond, the up pipes help via the showers to help remove the DOCs, thus creating better water quality for the fish. I also run a trickle in, trickle out system, and that also means there's always fresh water coming into the pond via my recycle RO, which keeps the fish happy and keeps the water quality to the best as it should be. When it comes to feeding, I tend to feed sake hikari solely, and during this time of the year my pond is at 24 Celsius, and I would feed them up to 12 times a day on sake hikari growth with a mixture of sinking and floating pellets. I tend to run the sinking pellets around 30% and 70% on floating. I am looking after jumbo koi, so I want to be careful of not putting too much sinking in there and the fish causing problems with the digestive system, because the sinking pellets is actually a lot denser than the regular floating pellets, so it's a little bit harder to digest. And so if you are thinking about feeding sinking, don't go crazy on it. Just use it sparingly, and as a general rule, 70% floating to 30% sinking is really where you should be. So I tend to run lights in my pond with these UFO lights that I've installed, LEDs, and that is controlled via an app on my phone. Also with my oxygen in the pond, that is also controlled via an app, as you can see. I believe that you should have enough oxygen, but my Baki showers do provide a good level of oxygen, and I've tested that dissolved oxygen in the pond. When you run in any extra oxygen, I tend to run it just around between 70 and 1 meter off the top. I don't put it on the floor, and I don't run my bottom drains again with any oxygen coming out of that. Now, so far the video has been more about the technical part of koi keeping, from scrapes to how the lights work, to those things. But I think one thing that is important to cover is, and why did I build my koi pond, is also about the importance of family involvement. As most of you would know, that Dylan helps me with the koi pond. As I'm getting to that grand old age, we do all need extra help, whether you're young or old. Sometimes you need somebody to help you net a fish, you need someone to help you fill up a feeder if you're away, someone to cast your eyes onto the pond, make sure the pumps are running, those things. And it's really good that you sort of get your kids involved, not by kids on demand, but really by seeing if you can help use them to help maintain the pond, whether it's with pocket money or just get a passion for it themselves. I get my family involved, so my wife and my daughter also enjoy feeding the fish and looking after the pond as well, coming out naming the fish and doing things like that. It's all part of the pond that is really part of the household. It's not just my thing in itself. Also, one of the things I considered when building the pond was the view of the pond from the house, and to me it was important to see the pond from what I call the three aspects of the house. That is the lounge. So you can see here is a shot of from the lounge to the koi pond. You can see the view from there. So if we're sitting outside the lounge or in the lounge, you could basically look over your shoulder and see the pond in any ways. The other one is from the kitchen. Is also, as we sit down as a family and we eat, literally the pond is right in our view and from the window as well. So that's an important bit. And then also from my main bedroom, I can see the pond as well. I can see, and really that's probably one of the most impressive view, whether it's a nighttime view. You could see some nighttime shots of the pond from overhead on this clip, or from a daytime view as well. You can see how you could notice the pond and the fish. You could also see them feeding at the bottom of the pond, and it's really good to observe your koi from a distance as well, because they would behave naturally a little bit different once you approach the pond. There's a little bit different behavior to when you're a little bit further away. So those three aspects, of my lounge to the kitchen to the master bedroom, was important to be able to see the pond and to see what it looked like from those aspects of the koi pond. So why did I build a koi pond? Well, to enjoy it with my kids, my family, my friends, to go to koi shows, to visit Japan, all those things, yes, became a part of it. But initially what started as a hobby for me has really now came into something that is part of the family, of my family, and indeed many of you who watches these videos as well. So hopefully this video has made a lot of sense to you and you enjoy it. It's a little bit different. granted, but hopefully you like and you subscribe. Peace out from Rasta.